recording? All right. So here is the W block that we're going to be working on again. And so my plan, how would I do this part? So first thing I'm going to note is what's the kind of the first thing you can see about this part? So it's symmetric, right? So I'm going to make a note that, hey, this part's symmetric. So where should I put my origin? Yeah, probably in the center of this thing, right? It's symmetric front to back and side to side. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to sketch on the top. And I'm going to do a center rectangle. I'm going to do a center rectangle based on the origin, right? I can't type. So sketch on top plane, center rectangle from origin. So I'm going to sketch here, draw this rectangle, and then extrude it up. Up my 15. And I'm going to make this one 127 by 34. Do my 15. So that gives me this whole box here, right? Now I'm going to sketch on front of part. Just do a rectangle, mid to mid. I'm going to line up the midpoint of the rectangle to the midpoint of that bottom edge. So I'm going to have a rectangle on the front face up here, centered on the part. I want to make it 70 wide by 2 tall. I can cut out this cut. Why don't I just do it on the bottom surface, then extrude up 2? Better view. Yeah, because I can see the shape that I'm cutting, right? Just like when we're dimensioning it, better dimension it here because I can see the shape rather than just 2 lines. So I always try to draw it where I can see what's going on with that thing. And now I'm going to do one of these. So sketch on front. I'm going to draw the left. I don't know, riser. Whatever that's called. I'm going to do that with 3 lines. I'm going to draw just this left one right here. And actually, I'm just going to make it go all the way to the middle. So middle over there. Extrude to back. Mirror. Riser. Sketch on front. Rectangle, mid to mid of top line. So then I'll draw this one in here, cut it out. Now I've basically got the whole thing except for the holes, right? Mm-hmm. Sketch on top. Draw a center line for the thread holes. Then do them, and then sketch on top of the 15, drawing for the other holes. Then fillets. So that would be my steps of how to do this. Okay. So now I have an exact plan of what I want to do for making this model. Does that make sense? So now let's execute this plan. I'm going to bring my stuff over to the other monitor so I can see. So let's stick this over here. I'll make a fusion here so we can still see it. So create a sketch, top plane, rectangle, center, here out. Dimension. Oop, I forgot my units. I'll fix that after I do this sketch. Oops. Millimeters. And now I'll go ahead and change my units. Instead of having to go out, change it, kick out of the sketch, come back in, I just type the images to get it going. I did. So, fine. There we go. Now I'll create a sketch here, rectangle. I'm gonna draw it down there somewhere. Bring this one up somewhere, and then midpoint, bottom edge, bottom of our rectangle, and dimension 72. So remember, I don't like drawing the rectangle on the line because then it's hard to pick the line. Pick midpoint. Same thing, I didn't dimension the bottom line because it's hard, just two lines there. I'd pick the top one, the one that's easy to get to. Finish, extrude, grab it all the way through, flip the cut, okay. So now I'm down there. Oh, didn't actually write extrude. There we go. Sketch on the front. I'm gonna draw from the midpoint. I know I want to start in the middle. Go up, over, angle. 3 lines. Now I can dimension from that corner to the corner here. That's my 27.61. Dimension my angle here, my 105, and my overall height, 37. Okay, questions? Yeah, I could have extruded the whole thing 37 and then cut out that side. It would have been the same sketch, right? So either way works. I'm going to extrude that and tell it to go not distance but to object and to the back. Because if I change the thickness of this, I want that to stay the whole thickness, right? And now I'm going to mirror features, that feature, across there. There we go. Now this line is 27.61, 27.61. I know it's centered there. Create a sketch here, rectangle. Again, just draw it down there somewhere. And now I can line it up midpoint to midpoint. Now I can dimension 20 by 20. Finish, extrude, pick, all, flip.
Oh.
There I have that. Okay. Sketch, top surface. I'm just gonna draw a line, my center line, and midpoint there to the origin. Right? So I have the origin in the middle of the part, means that if anytime I want something symmetrical on both sides, I can always put a midpoint on that origin and it's gonna be centered. And now I can just tell this line to be 40, finish, hole, endpoint, endpoint, through all, threaded, and this is M8, made by 1/4, right? Good, good, good. Okay. Question on that? Anybody?
Yep. So for that one you have to in the millimeter. Okay.
Do I have to do what?
Okay, so.
Yep. Or I can do ANSI metric, same thing.
Okay, so either or.
It's the same thread. Actually, no, this ANSI metric mim.
What's the question? See that?
So go to 8. There's the same thing. It's the same. It's the same thread.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you use the ANSI metric M or use the Isometric. It's the same shape.
Okay.
The same pitch, everything. So it doesn't. Yeah. The same tab.
Gotcha. Okay.
So create a sketch here and do the same exact thing. Draw the line out there, then move it in place, and then dimension it. Holes at the endpoints. Now it's going to be just a plain hole, and it's going to be 11, still all the way through.
Sure.
I have that. Now I can go back in and add my fillets. So there and there, 0.5. There, 2. There, not there, 1. So now this part is done. Okay. So you can see how simple my instructions work. Draw this, draw that. And I was able to come up with, list everything out before I even started drawing it. But now when modeling, it's just follow my steps. I don't have to think about, okay, what am I doing? How is it going to be centered? Because I've already decided all that before I start working. And then that makes the modeling process easier because you're just going through the steps. You're just doing what you already planned. Okay. Any questions on how I did things or why I did things? Yep.
Rectangle.
Yep, I centered the bottom of the rectangle, the bottom edge of the part. You can see I never dimensioned the same thing twice, which means that if I need to change something, I can just go in and change. If I change this side, it changes that side. I took less time because I didn't have to draw both sides of it. And I could have drawn up, over, and down, right? And then I would have had to somehow center that on the part. So that would probably need to draw another line up the middle anyways. And then I'd have to make those two equal, which is more work than just drawing it, dimensioning it, and then mirroring it. Because I could have just done, get to here. I could have gone here and drawn up, over, down. But now I need to make these two equal.
Oh, using the constraints.
And I would have had to draw a line from the midpoint
Yeah.
to the midpoint, make that vertical,
Right.
and then put in the same dimensions I did
Right.
already anyways. Doing the mirror command was just faster than doing those extra steps in the sketch. Yep. And so mirroring as a feature is simple. That's easy thing to do. Just do it. Could I have done just half the part, mirrored the whole half part? Yeah, I could have done that too. Both ways are good. I just wouldn't have, done two different things or dimensioned this all the way on both sides. Because I don't want to do the same thing twice.
When you use the mirror command,
The feature.
oh,
yeah.
the feature.
All I did was mirror that last piece. The rest of it was there. Could I have mirrored the whole body? Yeah, it would have been gonna be the same thing.
Oh, so either.
It just I'd have two of these on top of each other, they just would have merged again. So it would have been the same thing. So I could have said mirror the body, pick that whole body and done it.
Oh.
And it would have.
Oh, well.
But I would need to tell it to join.
Right.
And then it would be the same thing.
Oh.
So either way, but it's a little neater if just by doing the feature. But if I had drawn just the left half of this, then I could mirror the whole body over, join it together.
Oh.
Yeah. When you're revolving something, you can't. But you can overlap on a circular pattern, you can too. But the revolve itself, you can't overlap. No. Yeah. So because you're using the whole feature, you're using the whole body. It knows how it's gonna set up each other. Just in the revolve command, now it doesn't know like you're telling it be an opening and be solid, and it doesn't know what to do. But as you have a body and you're using a pattern, so mirror or circular pattern, rectangular pattern, it knows what's going on. It knows like, okay, this is always going to be a void. This is always going to be a solid, and so it can solve it easily. So, any other questions on that? Yeah.
Okay. Not the millimeters, but
Just because I knew that it was a single dimension, I was lazy. I didn't say what it was. Because so I could said centerline 40 there, centerline 100 there. Whatever. But I knew the stuff. I knew what I was going to look at. And so your plan is for you. What to help you figure it out. Mm-hmm. If you can, be a little bit less specific, that's okay. You be more specific, be more specific. Okay. But spend more time coming up with a good plan before you start modeling. Because then it's going to make your model easy because you're not going to, well, how do I do, be halfway done and I should have done it this way. Or you're in the middle of doing this big complicated sketch of, doing all of this thing as one thing. Why am I having to mention everything twice? Because just go back and the plan. Use the plan. Think about the easiest way to model it. Okay.
Rather than making the plan and doing it at the same time.
Yeah. Don't make the plan while you're doing it. Don't build the ship while you're flying. Right.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Make the plan. Decide what you're going to do. Work out details here because it's easy to edit Word. You all know how to type, right? You can kind of reorder some steps here before you start getting into the new thing. And then once you get here, just follow what you did. And if you decide this isn't working, instead of trying to fix it here, go back and work on your plan. Fix your plan. Okay, this isn't working. What do I need to change in my steps? Is there a way I can kind of survive from here, or do I need to go back a couple steps? Or do I need to scrap this thing and start over? Because maybe you started you're sketching this whole outside, and it's easier to just close that down, start a new one, and start something new. Other questions? No. All right. I bet you want to see a drawing of this, right?
Sure. That would be.
So, I'm going to do a drawing of it. I'm going to use my template.
Yeah.
And so, this side view really doesn't give me anything at all, right? So I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to make this bigger. That should be okay. Turn off those. I can have those off or here where they're foreshortened a little bit. I kind of like that view. I'm going to do that, and I'll throw in a top view here. I'm going to turn those off there. Actually, I'm going to turn off all my edges off, just so that doesn't really, the hidden edges really don't help me. So, I can have them on or off. It doesn't really, it shows me that there's this corner here. I don't really need it. I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to make a detail. I'm going to put that A somewhere where I can see it. I'll move that. Oh. My units. And then before I get going too much, I'm going to go into my sheet, edit my sheet. Fill it out. So that way I don't forget to change it. So my general rule of thumb is that if I'm doing a drawing, the drawing is going to take me twice as long as it took me to make the model. That's my personal rule of thumb. It took me 10 minutes to model it. It's going to take me 20 minutes to make the drawing. The drawing is the important thing. That's where you're communicating your thing to other people. Spend the time. Don't just rush through the drawing and try and finish it as fast as you can. Take the time. 2 to 3 times as long as it took to model it is the drawing time. And that's on my time. So adjust it for you, but you know, I'm a faster modeler, but I'm also a faster drawer, and I know what I want it to look like. So keep that in mind for you guys. You're still learning, taking longer to model, but you're also to take longer reviewing, looking at it, seeing, okay, is this the best it can be? How can it be better? Are things even? All that stuff. You know, so when I did the center mark pattern, it put on all 4 of those at once. I didn't have to pick on each one. What does this need to be? Needs to be tolerance also, and I need to also fix some other settings, right? I don't want trailing zeros, so I'm going to go in, edit my settings, go to units, turn off the trailing zeros, turn on the leading zero. I don't think I have any of those, but that. Now for this one dimension, double click on it, and I need a tolerance. I'm going to go to tolerances. And what kind of tolerance was that? So it's showing the 2 numbers, so it's what we call a limits tolerance. Those are the limits of what the part can be made. And so it's 0 to 40. So on this one, I am going to turn on the extra units, and I'm going to tell it to be limits. And so what's happening is the lower limit, it subtracts from the measured value and puts that as the bottom number. The upper limit, it adds that to the top, to the measured value, and puts it on the top. And so if I make it 0, 0, it's going to be 20 and 20. But if I do like -1, now it makes it 21. So it subtracted -1, so it added 1. And so you can do that if you wanted to, but so ours is going to be that, and it's going to be plus 0.4. Right? I'm just going to go to one place so that way they're both the same unit. All right, where's my thing? I am. Out here a little bit. And bring it up a little bit so it's not in line with the center line there. Line it up with that one. Got this one right here. Might as well just throw it there too, right? Get out of the way. I need to have these down here, so I do need this width. We'll put that there. So now these ones, I can either pull it up here or put it down here. I can't put it here because now you can see it's not pointing at the arc.
Oh.
Can't put it over here, it's not pointing at the arc. It has to be pointing, has to be on the arc. So either here or here. So I can pick it to put it, you know, somewhere maybe here. Or I can put it out here. Or I can put it here or here. We probably don't want to put it right there where it's going right through that corner. So see right here, my leader is going right through that corner. Probably don't want to put it right there. I'd rather cross the extension line or cross the part. And that's kind of a preference thing. That's not wrong, just a little nicer there or there. I'd probably go for crossing the leader there, or I'd stick it down here somewhere. But if I need to have it say 2x, I don't know if I have space for it there.
That can even touch the.
So if I need my point 2x, it's barely. No, it's out of the envelope. The envelope is here. Yeah. Yeah, if I stick it here, that'd be in the envelope. But still, if that looks nice, I can put it there. So maybe here.
Oh. Okay.
But also just as easily putting it here. Good. Yeah, something like that. But I'd probably stick it there. For me, it just looks a little nicer up there. Bring that up there.
Those leader arrows, the extension.
Yeah.
The dimension.
Yeah, crossing the extension line is fine. Crossing the dimension line, no go.
No go. Okay.
Let's see. I've got that detail, might as well use it for as much stuff as I can. Getting it out of the way of the main view. So that's good. Anything else? Oh, yes, I'm missing a few things.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'm missing my holes. So is this good?
Oh.
Yeah, because I'm going right through the corner of the part. I want to go over here somewhere. Yeah, let's take that off. What's wrong with this now? Yeah, this needs to point at the center. So grab the center point, just drag it over, so that way the arrow points to the center. For some reason, when you use this, it adds it in as a regular leader note, and it doesn't point to the center. Remember, if you use the dimension here, then it will always point towards the center. But it won't give you the 2x automatically. But on this, I take out the through anyway, so maybe I'm just gonna put that there. My 2x in.
I saw that little green. It was.
Yep. Well, because I used the dimension, that's always going to point at the middle.
Oh, okay.
I do want to use the thread note for here, so I'm going to pick that one, and I'm just going to put it over where I want it. And I don't need all of this. I'm just going to put. I just want the thread note. I think, let's see, go into here. Lines. Yeah, so I don't know if there's a place to change that. What are dimensions there? So usually we don't call out the tabule size for the hole. We let the machinist figure out what's going to work based on the tables, which is where that's pulling that information anyway. So just let the machinist go to the table and use what they're supposed to use. And so that would be my part. What did I do that I should probably do? I could, yeah, having this on the bottom is kind of a weird spot, so I could grab it and flip it up here. Since I decided not to put anything up there anyways, makes it a little nicer, right? Instead of having the arrowhead crossing the extension line, a little cleaner. Anything else I can do to make it look a little nicer? Right here? You mean this here? Oh, up here? Oh, right here?
Yeah.
I don't need that. I know the angle of this line. I know how tall that is. I know where that starts. So that corner is where this line hits that line. Yeah, don't dimension that. So that's part of. We were given a drawing that had all the dimensions enough to make the part. We didn't have to use that dimension to make the part. Don't go adding it to the drawing just because you think, oh, I need to tell them how big that is. So that's a thing that a lot of people will do is that's just made by it's what's left there when you make the geometry that's you've already dimensioned. There's no point in going in here and adding that dimension. A lot of people will do that. Don't do that. Use only the dimensions that you were given. Because if you didn't need to use it to make the model, then you don't need a dimension on the drawing. Anything else that I could do on this to make it a little bit better? It is 1-to-1, so my title locked in update, so just go click on that, hit reset, and for some reason, even though it's 1-to-1, even if I hit reset, there it is. There, now it fixed it. I did hit it a couple times. Or I could have just gone there and manually changed it. So yeah, make sure that that stuff gets updated. I'm going to pull this down a little bit for a little bit more space. Anything else? Yeah. Yeah. Up there, so it's not hitting the line. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because it's different than this scale. If it's the same, you wouldn't need it, but if it's the same, you wouldn't be making a detail. The point of a detail is to make it bigger. I mean, you could technically do it same scale, so that way, just so you'd have a different space for it. But on this part, if I didn't put all this stuff here and I kept the same scale, why not just put it right here, right? I could just put all this stuff right here if I was gonna do the same scale. So it really doesn't help a lot. Any other questions on this? Or there is one thing that I see that I should do different, that I need to change to make this drawing better. And it has nothing to do with the dimensions that I have on it or my views. Yeah, my title. Component 1, component 1. How do I change that? Go into my model, right click on my component, go to properties. Change my part name to W block. All caps, and then give it some kind of part number. Save it. Come back, update, and there we go. Now I have title of my part and a drawing number on it. Okay. Yes, I could go in here, double click on it, and override it. Don't do that. Because next week we're going to get into making assemblies, and we want that same information to fill out other stuff for us. So you need to fill that out. Okay, so get used to going in the properties, filling out the name, the part number, and also the description. We haven't used that yet. But this description, for now, just copy your part name into the description also. Okay? Because for the most part, the part name and the description are going to be the same. There's some times that it'll be different. We'll talk about that next week. Okay. So, any other questions or comments on the making this model or the drawing? Yeah. Yep. There's 4 of those. So there's the 2 here and the 2 right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That one, that one, that one, and that one are all R2. So I could have also just done 2 there. And I could call out 2 here also. It just says typical. So it's better to actually put an X so they know how many of them there are than the typical, but it works either way. But yeah, I could do something like this. That way they know there's 2 up top and 2 down below. But also we know that these are already controlled. These are already controlled. So this would just be whatever's left over. So I probably wouldn't do that. I'd leave it the 4. Yeah, you're not supposed to anymore. It used to be, we used to use it all the time. But we don't do it so much. So any other questions? Oh, all right.